I want you to brace yourself for what I'm about to say. There are 3 men participating in Morgana's imprisonment. And one of those 3 is your brother, Mell. Hello and welcome. I'm Ashmanix, and we are back again to play the house in Fata Morgana. In the last part of the playthrough, if I can remember correctly, we came across Nelly. Well, the actual version of Nelly from the witch's time. And we were forced to, well, in order to try and... What were we actually trying to do? We were befriending Nelly because we thought that would be a way to get information about the nun, who was the love interest. I apologise, I forget the names of all these characters, but she was the original love interest of the man who was known as the Beast, in what I believe was the second of the 3 main tales. So anyway, I think we were trying to befriend Nelly, and that was going as well as you would expect with someone like with Michelle's personality and ability to, or inability to, really kind of socialize with strangers, and especially children who Michelle has not had much experience with, being like shut away in a mansion or in a room, or just kept away in general from the general public. So I believe that's where we kind of stopped last time. But enough of my ramblings. Let me inspect the memories. The road to truth. Yes. And we have Nelly right there. I'm just going to switch to full screen and we'll just jump in. I don't know why it feels like so long since I last played this when it was only like about a week ago. What did we last see? I can't remember. Wait, I can check, can't I? I want to make it into a pretty little pie. You get to help me with that. Yeah. Alright, so we're helping Nelly make a pie, which is going to be fun. But it's okay because Giselle is with us in our mind. And is not looking too pleased at the whole situation. Wait, what was the last thing she said? Oh. Giselle said this is not going to end well. Are you trying to say Michelle can't cook? Well. No, as far as much from everything we know of Michelle so far, Michelle cooking involves just putting a bunch of things into water and boiling it. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. How on earth do you manage to turn a pie into this monstrosity? Oh, right, okay, we already made the pie and it was bad. I gave it my best shot. There's only one explanation. You're possessed. It's true, he is, but I'm a perfectly good chef. Michelle's just naturally terrible at it. God, could this go any worse? I can't give this to Mell. Jerk, dimwit, loser. I'm sorry. Ugh. Well, I guess we've got no choice but to eat it ourselves. I'll set the table. What? And I'll make us some tea while I'm at it. You know, I've always dreamed of this. Sitting around a table with a friend, having snacks and just talking. Oh. Yeah, so Nelly, in this timeline, I will say, is a lot more malnutrition. Is that the right malnutrition? Yeah, well, I'll go with it. Compared to the Nelly we know from the first story that we encountered her, because they are a poor family, and when the witch is retelling, in the Witch Morgana's retelling of her story, she said that they were a prince and a princess that had to leave their kingdom or something, or for some reason, Mell had kept his sister, the princess, away from the kingdom because she was ill, just to take care of her or something. But I'm getting the distinct impression that they are not prince and princess, that Nelly just likes to call Mell her prince, and that they have no money, and potentially there's no parents, so Mell has to fend for the two of them. And so Nelly gets stuck at home on her own with her illness. Malnutritioned. Yeah, that sounds right. Yep, and for that, I can deal with a little awful, disgusting pie. It's just too bad I couldn't share it with my Mell too. You want to share the bad pie? I see. For all her complaining, she seems to be enjoying herself. I can only imagine how lonely she is out here. While she may act all bright and cheerful, beneath it is a real sense of isolation. And the same can be said about the girl behind the first door. As vivacious and pushy as she could be, you could see hints of loneliness behind it all. Her brother was practically all she had while she lived in the mansion. But if I were to guess, that's not the life she really wanted. I bet she would have preferred to be able to go out and play with friends. Being born into a noble family takes away a lot of your freedom. Even in such drastically different time periods, she's still the same girl inside. Actually, maybe the parallels extend beyond her as a person and into the courses of her two different lives. Perhaps that means all those who were reconstructed at Morgana's wish are destined to lead similar lives. Though destined might be putting it too nicely. Nelly. I would be glad to lend you my ear if you would like. You can talk about the weather or your brother, anything you want. You will? Great, take a seat. I've got lots I want to talk about. More than you can possibly imagine. And you'll never guess what Mell said next. That I mean more to him than anyone in the world. So I'm growing flowers out in the garden, right? Well, when I've got enough for them, I'm going to make a big bouquet and give it to Mell. Back at home, we've got this really, really big yard with this huge tree we used to take naps under when it was nice out. So what do you think about the tea I made? The flower petal's what really ties it all together. Oh, and you won't believe what happened after that. Care for another cup of tea? I'll make as much as you can drink. No, thank you. I'm fine. I feel like all I did was nod and listen. Yep. And the bulk of it all was about Mell, no less. I haven't talked that much in ages. Time sure flew by, huh? The sun's starting to set. Do you and the nun not speak much? We do, but it's kind of, I don't know, not really the same with her. It just feels, I guess, like she's too important for me to waste her time being the lady in charge of the church and pretty much the whole estate. And what about Mell? Does he not visit you very often? Oh dear. No, he does. He comes to see me a lot. Then why? He hasn't been himself lately. My old Mell would always happily listen to whatever I had to say, but now he seems kind of distracted. It sounds like he's really busy. When he visits, he doesn't stay for long, and he has to go back to the mansion at night. I'll try to get him to stay longer, but it never works. I'll try to get him... Oh. And he always avoids the question when I ask him why he can't. It feels like he's hiding something. Knowing what he's hiding, I can understand why you wouldn't want to talk about it. He could never tell his precious little sister that he and two other men have a girl locked up in a tower, and that he's stealing her blood for her sake. I wish I wish things could have stayed the way they were before. The way they were before? When it was just the two of us living together. I know we're more stable here, and I can get the medicine I need from the church, but I'd rather stay being sick than to be so alone. You said you came here around 6 months ago. Yep, it was just the two of us before that. Well, before that, at our old house, we had a bunch of servants. Oh. But I never really liked it there either. With that many people around, I just felt more alone. So they were well off before then. I liked it so much better when it was just me and Mell. Oh, this... Yeah... I mean, it's good to be close to your sibling, but this just feels like something that might develop into something unhealthy, which we've already seen. Is that really what you want? To be sick and in constant pain? It's better than being alone. Mel just didn't get it. He doesn't understand that the loneliness is so much worse. Or maybe that's just a guy thing. They don't get what it's like to be ignored. What it feels like to be left in the dark, not knowing anything. Oh, well, I suppose that's a bit different than just generally being ignored, I don't know. We don't understand, no. We think saving their lives matters above all. Huh? Even if there's a cost to saving that life. I've only just clocked because I'm dense. Yes, Michelle did something similar to Giselle, except Giselle had to wait hundreds and hundreds of years. Oof. Yeah, I feel that pain, Michelle, that was bad. But, to be fair, I get what you did. I would have done the same. We're incapable of gauging how great it is. We're unable to see how egotistical, how self-serving our actions are. Are you talking about yourself? The same could be said of Mell as well, I imagine. Mel's still around though. He's there, but it's like he's trying to avoid me. All I want for him is to be here, to be with me. That's all I really want. He doesn't even have to be a perfect fairy tale prince. Have you ever told him that? What? Have you ever told him that he doesn't have to be the perfect brother? That you'd be happy with just having him there? Have you ever put those feelings into words? I'm always telling him I want him around, and that he doesn't have to be your prince to do so. He's already said he'll be my prince, and he always smiles whenever I talk about it. So how am I supposed to turn around and say he doesn't have to be my prince anymore? I know it's not your intention to force an ideal image onto him, but unconsciously, subconsciously, that's what you're doing when you talk like that. And Mell, he's trying to meet those expectations. Actually, he may not be conscious of it himself, and he just believes deep down that that's the kind of person he's supposed to be. Or, more accurately, he seems to have a need to make himself look good to others. He believes that if he's good to others, they'll be good to him in return. Am I a burden? Yes! Yes, you are! No. Oh, Nelly, no you're not. I can assure you he's better off with you around. But I am a burden to him right now, aren't I? Be honest with me. Oh, damn. Okay. Yes, you are. Does Mell not like me anymore? Is that why he's been avoiding me? I promise you that's not the case. At the very least, he's doing what he's doing now because of how much he cares about you. You promise? I promise. I love him. I love my Mell so very much. Too much, in fact. To be honest, I know I do. I understand that, really. I know I'm making his life difficult, but Mell's all I have. He's the only person I can latch onto, and I can't control my feelings. It can be difficult to tame your emotions at your age. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you should have taken stock of those emotions, sorted through everything you've got on your mind, and then sat down with them to talk it out. Wait, how old is... Nelly is like, what, 9 or something? I don't even know what age she said she was. She's tiny. Why are you expecting her to, like, sit there and take stock? I mean, she is, I suppose, mature for her age, maybe? But, like, expecting a child, a young child, to take stock of their emotions, sort through everything, and then sit down and talk. Most adults don't do that. Even if those things you feel seem wrong or unspeakable, you should have opened up to him, taken the time to figure out what works best for the both of you. You too needed to face the things you carried in your heart, the things your brother carried in his. By not doing so, you end up never quite on the same page. Small misunderstandings piling up until it all comes crashing down. If they had just talked it out, communicated their feelings to one another, maybe their tragedy could have been avoided, even Morgana's curse in play. If Nelly had only had a chance to come to grips with her feelings for Mell, then maybe things wouldn't have escalated the way they did. Her actions that night were arguably hysteric, but she wasn't always like that. I'm sorry. That was out of line. None of this is any of my business, I know. No need to apologise. You're a very curious man. You know that? Huh? We only met a couple of hours ago, but you talk like you've known me my whole life. Yeah. It's like you can hear everything I'm thinking, see everything in my heart. Did Mell tell you all of that? No, he did not tell me much. I didn't think so. He doesn't know me that well. Wow. It's not too late, is it? If I talk to him, really tell him how I feel, do you think Mell will listen? I know he will. It won't make things worse. It won't make him uncomfortable. Got you. Yeah, probably. There is a chance that rifts may form at first, but those tracks can be filled again, and I promise you, the result will be something much better than if you had held it in. It will all work out. Okay, that's a dangerous thing to guarantee, Nelly. Okay, next time I see Mell, I'll tell him. I'll tell him he doesn't have to try to be my prince. Good. You really are a curious man. You're the first person to ever talk to me like I'm a real person. I mean, yeah, I suppose people talk down to children a lot. But she is a child, but also she's showing a surprising amount of maturity for... I mean, she's what? She's really young. I can't remember what age. I need to check this up. I'm sure they said she was like... I don't know. 6 or something? I mean... What do you... anyway. Everyone loves to say how sweet and adorable I am, but that's it. I was only ever their make-believe princess. Make-believe? You are a real person, I assure you. Thanks. You know, after talking to you, I'm feeling a whole lot better. Like I can do anything. I'm glad you came by today. And I'm glad I could meet you in person. It's weird. It really feels like we've known each other our entire lives. I've known of you for some time. Or perhaps I should say, what you will become. Huh? Oh, no, ignore me. Was that supposed to be a pickup line? Oh my god. I mean, that did sound, when you don't know the context of where that's coming from, that out of context, that does sound pretty weird. I know what you're going to become. Bad, Michelle. I'm still too young for that. No, I wasn't. And now you're getting flustered. Come on, Michelle. She's a child. You should be getting so thingy about it. I swear that's not what that was. I know. Jeez, do you really think I trust you that little? Oh, he's saying to her, sorry. Ooh, I just had the most wonderful idea. Oh? Yep. Instead of being my friend, I'll let you be something even better. Uh-oh. An older brother? You're my second brother. The second brother? A brother is much, much more special to me than a friend. Though obviously you can't be my number one. I'm blanking. She's taken a liking to you. This is good for us. I'm not sure how I feel about her putting so much trust in me so quickly, though. The amount of time it takes isn't important. What matters is that you listen to her, you understand her, and you treated her like a real person. In her eyes, you're someone she can depend on. Do you not want me as your sister? Actually, I was the youngest child. So having a younger sibling would be, Would be what? Come on, spit it out. It would be rather nice. You bet it would. Who wouldn't want an adorable little sister like me? That's a bit narcissistic, wouldn't you say? Well, it's true, isn't it? Go on, tell me I'm adorable, dearest Michelle. What the? Oh man, this kid is bold. Oh my god, we're having so much fun with these characters, and this is like the last story. I didn't think we would have bits of the story like this at this point in the story. It's quite adorable. What? Well, don't just stare at me. If my Mell were here, he wouldn't bat an eye. I don't know. Please don't compare me to him. You know, now might be a good time to tell her about Morgana. Part of me feels like I would be taking advantage of her newly earned trust, but it'll certainly be easier to bring up now, while she holds me in such high regard. She's much more likely to believe me. Oh, this looks like a... Oh. Wait. Right. You're right. I agree. Now's probably the best chance we'll get. Especially considering how little time we have. I can't shake the feeling I'm rushing things. But at this point, all I can do is go with it and pray it works out. If we had the time, I think we'd all like to hold off. Now it looks like she's having so much fun. And even you seem to be enjoying yourself. No, I am. I'm just... It's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm having fun watching you myself. And so am I, Michelle. Let's do it. Let's tell her about Morgana. We have to do it at some point anyway. Yes, let's. Nelly, do you mind if I ask you a question? What is it, dearest Michelle? Ask me anything you want. Oh, it's a Reddit AMA. Have you heard of something called Saint's Blood? You mean the medicine? Yes, except it's not actually. I know. Yeah. It's actually the same test as blood, not medicine. But no telling. You. What? One day before we moved here, when it was just me and Mell, the same test came to visit. My mind had been all foggy for a long time, like I was not quite asleep, but not quite awake either. But when I heard her soft, pleasant voice, the fog cleared a bit. The Saintess is the nun, who is the love interest of the guy I know as the Beast, but I've forgotten his name. It's not the witch, though the witch was known as a saint as well. And then she performed a miracle for me. Blood is awful and gross and terrible, but the Saintess's, hers is different. Hers is pure. So you're saying you know everything, Nelly? About the observation tower and... Huh? The tower? What about it? That's where they keep her. What? No, the Saintess is always in the chapel. And she stays here with me. She comes back at nights. In fact, she should be here any minute now. Uh-oh. So, she thinks the Saintess is the nun and not Morgana. No, Nelly, that blood comes from... I'm really, really grateful to her. She didn't just perform the one miracle, she's been taking care of me while I'm here too. So whenever I see her, I always say thank you. I thank her for sharing her blood with me. And she always says it's nothing, with a big smile. What? So, the nun is giving everyone the medicine, and of some of the people who know about the medicine being blood, they think it's coming from her. That's insane. Nelly, no. The nun has no idea. She just assumes Nelly's thanking her for giving her the medicine. Wait, so how does Nelly know? Wait, does the nun even know that it's blood in the medicine? We know that Mell knows, and the other two men know as well. But does the Saintess know? So Nelly knows, yet the Saintess doesn't, and Nelly is thinking it's the Saintess's blood. That's mental. I owe the Saintess my life. No, Nelly. She's not the one you should be grateful to. Huh? The girl you owe your life to has been locked up, suffering and alone even as we speak. But the Saintess is at the church. The girl who came to visit you is not the nun everyone calls the Saintess. Oh. No, this doesn't make sense. I owe the Saintess my life. You've been taking care of me while I'm here too, so whenever I see her, I always say thank you. I thank her for sharing her blood with me, and she always says it's nothing with a big smile. What? The Saintess is always in the chapel, and she stays here with me. She comes back at nights. In fact, she should be here any minute now. I thought the Saintess, I thought it was the nun. Alright, yeah, so she thinks the Saintess is the nun and not Morgana. Right, and so we're trying to say to her... The girl you owe your life to has been locked up. The girl who came to visit you is not... Oh. The girl who came to visit you... Oh, the first time. Okay, so the time that she was talking about where she saw the blood come from the Saintess... she was quite out of it. She didn't realise that it was someone else, not the nun. But she knows the blood comes from the Saintess. And so she assumed it was the nun because she never got a good view of her. And so she says thank you to the nun all the time, but the nun doesn't know what's going on. She just assumes she's thankful for getting medicine or something. Oh, this is a bit of a mess, isn't it? The girl who came to visit you is not the nun everyone calls the Saintess. Her name is Morgana. But what are you talking about, Michelle? The Saintess is locked up? Stop that. I have no idea what you're talking about. Everything I'm telling you is the truth. Please, believe me. While you were lying in bed, sick and barely conscious, did you get a good look at the Saintess who gave you her blood? You didn't, did you? You couldn't make out any details because your mind was a haze. And then when you arrived at this estate, you met a woman, who people call the Saintess, giving out medication known as Saint's Blood. So you assumed she was the one who had cured you. That's the story you chose to believe. If what you're saying is true, then where's the other Saintess, the one who came to see me? At the top of the mansion's observation tower. The door to the tower is locked. She's imprisoned there. And how do you know this? Because it would be wise to tell her I'm from the future. It wouldn't be wise to tell her I'm from the future just yet. That would only serve to confuse her further. All I need to convince her of right now is that Morgana is being held in the tower. There's an idea. Perhaps I can borrow from the story the white-haired girl told Mell. I received a letter. A letter? There's a single window, far out of reach in the chamber at the top of the tower. A dove flew into the window, and so she wrote a letter, tying it to the bird's leg and releasing it in the hopes someone would come to set her free. That letter ended up in my hands. If that's the case, then who's locked her up? Was it the Saintess, the one I know? No, I don't believe the nun is aware. I think she's simply doing her job in good faith. Then who? Michelle. I know very well that what I'm about to say will likely crush her, but I can't let that stop me. Who would do such a terrible thing? Nellie, I want you to brace yourself for what I'm about to say. There are 3 men participating in Morgana's imprisonment. And one of those 3 is your brother, Mell. I understand that that's the last thing you wanted to hear, but please believe me, I would not say something so upsetting lightly. I wish to save Morgana, the true saint. And I would like your assistance. Without your help, I can't get her out of that tower. I need you to get through to Mell, otherwise both he and Morgana will remain trapped. That's not true. Nellie. I wouldn't expect her to believe you. Even if she is trusting of you, she's only met you like a few hours ago. You're lying. You have to be. My Mell would never do something so horrible. You're a terrible liar. It's true. I swear to you. You think I'm going to believe that? My Mell? My Mell is an amazing, wonderful person. He's not cruel and evil. He's good and kind, like a prince. And a prince would never lock someone up. I know you're not blind, Nellie. You can see that all your prince talk has been putting pressure on him. So you think that's going to change my mind? He has no reason to do any of that. But he does, Nellie. He's certainly not happy about it, no. But he's doing it for you. What do you mean? He needs her blood to keep you healthy. So, to ensure he always had a supply. But no, And despite that, Saint's blood probably doesn't even have healing properties. No one benefits from doing this. Not you, not Mell, and certainly not Morgana. And I don't think anyone can stop him except you. Mell won't listen to me. Did you not just say you would talk things through with him? Just shut up. Stop talking already. I'm done listening to you.
Nelly.
I'll never believe you. You're not my brother anymore. You're just a horrible, horrible man. Who do you think you are to march in here and try to make my Mell into the bad guy? And after I made you my second brother? What's wrong with you? I trusted you. I ate nasty pie and had tea with you. Nasty pie. But you're just a mean, evil man here to turn me against my Mell.
I know you don't want to believe me, but I'm telling you the truth, every word. I beg you to open your eyes. Ask him yourself. If you don't believe me, then ask Mell about Morgana. I guarantee you he'll panic.
Enough! Enough already! Get out of here! Get out this instant!
Nelly.
Don't say my name. Just go away. Get out of here. Now. I don't want to see you ever again. I should have chased you off the moment I saw you. Get out. Now.
I pray you can find it in yourself to open your eyes and face the truth.
Get out!
One last thing before I go, Nelly. It was my only option, I know that. But I feel like all I accomplished by telling her was bringing her more pain. It's a difficult balance.
We just have to pray that you are able to get through to her. I'm sure she'll come around.
If only we had a little more time. In 3 days, it will all be over. Morgana and the entire web of people connected to her will die. That's not enough time. Let's return to the mansion and look for Mell. I would like to speak with him. If there's a chance we can get even the smallest bit of Nelly's feelings through to him, maybe we'll have a change of heart.
Hopefully.
It's hardly going to be elegant, but it's what must be done.
I forgot Nelly looks a little bit, I don't know, more mature. I don't know, he definitely looks very different here. Did you just get back? The Saintess was telling me you went to see Nelly. What do you think? Sweet girl, isn't she?
That she is.
Though she can be a bit of a handful at times. I'm glad you could keep her company for a bit. Now, just to be sure, you kept a lid on all your crazy talk, right?
She treated me to some tea, nothing more.
Ah, the stuff with the flower petals in it, yeah. She thinks it's some kind of charm to make it taste better. Girls seem to have a thing for stuff like that.
Mell.
Hmm?
Could you spare a bit of your time for me? We need to talk.
Oh, sure. Can it wait a bit though? I have to run a little errand after supper. When I'm done with that, I'll meet you in your room.
All right.
Do you think the errand is?
Bringing Morgana her meal, presumably. We might be able to catch the 3 of them opening a door if we trail Mell.
It's too big of it's a risk. Mel's already wary enough as it is.
I concur. We don't know how the other 2 might react either. It's best to play it safe. No one's going to come to our defense if we're caught, not at this point in time. So it'd be better off waiting in our room.
Agreed.
Though winter has receded and spring is well upon the land, there's still a sharp chill to the night air. Even with the windows shut, the wind still manages to slip through the cracks, making the candle flame waver. Neither Giselle nor I say much of anything, but nevertheless, when she does speak, the sound of her voice, soft and pleasant, relaxes my nerves. The faint sound of her breathing reminds me I'm not alone. and that she's there, always watching over me. When the candle is about half gone, the door swings open. Does he not knock? Sorry it took so long. What did you want to talk about? You didn't bring anyone with you? No, I didn't. Who do you think I would bring? No one. I was just checking. Now, I'll get straight to the point. You're afflicted with a great deal of remorse, are you not, Mell? Pardon? I know what you're doing, what you're involved in. I know the girl at the top of the observation tower very well. Her name is Morgana, and you have her imprisoned in the tower. The door requires 3 keys to open, of which you possess 1. You need her for her miracle blood. How? I came here to stop you. How do you know any of that? It's not possible she could have told anyone. Did one of them tell you? No, it wasn't them. I was told all of this by Morgana herself. How could she? What I'm about to tell you is going to seem impossible, but every word of it is the truth. I am not from this time. Many, many years after her death, Morgana's soul told me what happened to her. What are you even talking about? She's still alive. You're not from this time. What? Are you mad? Can you come up with any other explanation for how I would know everything I know? There's a single window in the room at the top of the tower. A small, insignificant thing that sits high upon the wall, and entirely useless for communicating with the outside world. In 3 days' time, during the Harvest Festival, Morgana will die. And I must prevent that from happening. Prevent it? To do that, I need your key. Will you give it to me? There you go, talking nonsense again. You know, I warned you not to kick up any dust for your own sake. But I guess that didn't get through, huh? I don't care who you are or where you come from. All that matters is that you intend to stand in our way. What, did you think I was just a helpless little boy? That you could take my key without any trouble? Well, you'd be right about that. If it was only me, stealing my key and setting her free would be a trivial matter. But it's not only me. Oh, he's brought the other 2. And the other 2, they won't hesitate to kill you. Your life, anyone's life, means nothing to them. You don't know what they're like, how terrifying they can be. They're killers. I'll tell them everything you told me. I'll tell them you know our secret. And don't come crying to me when they come for you. I warned you. Is that what you want? Will you find the comfort you seek by being their devoted little slave and keeping Morgana imprisoned in that tower? But what else can I... If you feel at all ashamed about your part in this, if you want to do something to correct it, then you need to take that step. You can't fix this problem on your own, no, but I am here to help. I'm not ashamed about anything. Don't lie to yourself. Don't act like you know how I feel. What the hell is your deal anyway? You show up out of nowhere expecting all this I'll save you and I'm here to help rubbish. You need to do this. For your sister. See, now that's ridiculous. If I wash my hands of this, I won't have access to the witch's blood anymore. And without that, Nellie can't get better. She'll die without that blood. Her blood has no miraculous healing powers. You only believe it does, making it appear to work. You're mad. Morgana's blood is not curing Nellie. In fact, it may very well be killing her. If you keep giving her that blood, Nellie will also lose her life during the Harvest Festival. What? You're standing on the precipice of a horrific tragedy, and you're going to take everyone down with you if you don't turn back now. But what are you... All three of you are going to lose everything on the day of the festival, and there's only one way to prevent that. You have to set Morgana free. You're insane. If you think I would believe that. Nellie's going to die? Could you have told a more mean-spirited lie? You're the one who's trying to kill her. I'm just trying to save her. And you're going about it the entirely wrong way. Do you have any idea how lonely your sister is right now? You should be at her side. That's what you should be doing instead of stealing a poor girl's blood. I've heard enough. What do you know? If I lose Nellie, I'll have no one. My whole world will collapse. This was the only way I could keep that from happening. This was my best option, my only option. So no, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to keep Morgana locked up. Sorry, I'm going to keep Morgana locked up, and I'm going to keep stealing her blood. And I'll hand you over to the other two. I'll have them kill you. You'll regret ever showing your face. Oh wow. Mell, is that really true? But do you really have the same test locked up? But why are you doing here, Nellie? That man told me I had to talk to you, and he said if I didn't have the courage to do it myself, to wait outside his room tonight, because he was going to get the truth from you. Oh, Michelle, this was the favour you asked at the end. But also, oh, this was dirty. And you feel, I could tell you feel bad about it as well. Jeez. You conniving son of a... You're planning this all along? But why would you tell Nellie? Why would you bring her out of all people into this? Mell. Tell me, Mell. Is it true? Nellie, Are you really keeping the same test prisoner and stealing her blood? And you said you would have him killed? I never thought you were such a terrible person, Mell. Can't believe you would do such despicable things. No, you're not my brother anymore. Nellie! Michelle, go after her. First of all, save over this. Yes. Shit. Go after her? Yeah, go after Nellie. We have to stop her. Bring her back. I wonder what would I mean, is this the right choice? Nellie. Don't follow me. Just go away. Leave me alone. Stop. If you run away from him now, Mell will never come back from this. Then why did you tell me? Why did you tell me what he was doing? If you hadn't said anything, everything would still be fine. We wouldn't be in this horrible mess. If you hadn't said anything, I could have kept on believing in him. No, things wouldn't be fine. What can you not see? Why can you not see that? You shouldn't put your faith in your ideal brother, but your real one, the boy in that room, stricken with regret. If I hadn't said anything, the facade would have ruined you both sooner or later. No, in truth, your relationship was already broken. Harsh. You were simply ignoring the spreading cracks. I know on some level you had realized that Mell was keeping something incredibly important from you, and that secret was tearing you apart. There's nothing good about this though. Now we'll never go back to the way we were. We can never go back to what it was like when we were kids, just the two of us playing together every day, having fun. Everyone's childhood comes to an end. Wait, maybe she is a bit older, but... Okay, maybe she's not 6, maybe she is like 12 or something, but still a kid. Or maybe she's 6, wait. Oh, I'll need to look this up afterwards. Because everyone's treating her like she's at least a teenager or something, when she looks like a small child. But then again, she is malnourished, so I don't know how much. Anyway. Everyone's childhood comes to an end. The flow of time is impartial. You cannot fight it. That's true. What you can do, what only you can do, is choose how you change. But, I will admit, I am the one who opened your wounds, and now I am putting the responsibility of tending to them onto you. It's cruel, I know. But if you don't come to terms with Mell and make him withdraw his participation, even greater suffering awaits you far in the future. It's not over yet, and you cannot let this be where it ends. The bonds you formed over the years are not yet broken, and you can do what I was never able to. You can still repair your relationship.
But I'm scared. Scared that my brother, that my Mell could do such terrible things. That he could say he would kill you.
That was pretty bad.
He used to be such a good brother. He was always so kind, so friendly to everyone. But it was all a lie. It was all a big act to fool me.
No, it was not all an act. There was truth to it. He is a kind-hearted boy, an ordinary young man, whose kindness was twisted by circumstance. And it doesn't matter how good a person someone is. Everyone has the potential to do terrible things when backed into a corner.
You think you know everything?
I know that much. Nelly, if you want your brother back, you have to act now. Please, you must take action.
But I'm scared. What am I supposed to say to him? I don't know.
I'll be there with you. You don't have to face this alone. There's more to this story than we've heard. We don't know how he got himself involved in this, and I mean to get the rest of it out of him. And you need to be there to hear it.
If, when I hear what he has to say, I try to say something I shouldn't, if I try to say something that will ruin everything, you'll stop me. You're the one who told me to open my eyes and face him. You're the one who made this whole mess. What am I supposed to do if all this destroys it? Huh? If all this destroys everything I have? You said you'd be my brother, right? So be a good brother and help me out here.
Nelly.
Promise me you'll make sure nothing goes bad. You'll do that, won't you? Michelle, just say yes. We won't let this go bad. Have faith in yourself. Faith that you put their relationship on track to recovery. Promise her. Give her the courage she wants from you.
You have nothing to fear. I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. I'll help you both.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll go back.
Thank you, Giselle.
Oh, don't mention it. Now, let's go see what he has to say for himself. Let's draw back that curtain.
Yes, let's.
Nelly. Mell.
What did you come back for?
To ridicule me? I'm not the brother you thought I was, huh? Not at all what you wanted me to be. It's all over. Everything Michelle said is true. There's a girl imprisoned in the tower. A completely innocent girl. The girl who saved your life, in fact. Go on, tell me how cruel and terrible and evil I am. I'm no prince. Here's an idea. Why don't you make him your new prince?
You can do it, Nelly. Ask him.
You have your reasons, don't you? You have some reason for being a part of this, right? A reason? Ah, yeah, I have a reason, alright. I wanted to save your life. I needed her blood to cure you, so I had her locked up. Tell me the truth.
I don't remember much about when the Saintess came to visit, but I do remember a little. I remember her saying she would gladly give whatever she could to the sick and needy, which means you had no need to lock her up. It would seem the tale Morgana showed me was true. She really was a saint. Yes, she was. Tell me the truth, Mell. Tell me everything. There's nothing to tell. There is, I know it. There's more to a story than just the facts. The things you thought, the things you felt, are all pieces that combine to make the whole story. Isn't that right, Michelle? You're exactly right. If you hadn't said anything, we could have gone on with our lives as normal. No, Mell, we couldn't have. I thought so too at first, but it's not true. Our normal lives ended long ago. Tell me the truth, Mell. No matter what it is, I can handle it. No, Nellie, you can't. A girl like you who dreams of becoming a princess couldn't possibly bear to see how hideous her brother has become. How can I know if you don't say anything, though? That's how it's always been with us. You were nice to me, and that was all I needed. I never looked beyond the surface. I made you into my ideal brother, and I latched on to that image of you. You're a kind person, Mell. You really are. So kind you played along with my fantasy that you were a prince. But you don't have to act for me anymore. I want to know the real you. I'm all done being a princess. I'm just your little sister now, nothing more. Your one and only little sister, Mell. You need to do this, Mell. You need to tell your story. Until you do, you have no way of understanding what you've been through, what you're going through. No way. If I tell you, you'll lose any hope you had left in me. As Nellie has, you need to release yourself from your own idealized fantasy, Mell. You have someone right here who will accept you for who you are. I know good and well just how hard it can be to have someone dear to you see a side of you that you didn't want to show them. I think you want to get it off your chest, though. And I think you want forgiveness. Fantasies are not everlasting. They all crumble, eventually. Show us the real Mell. Tell us your story, without embellishments or omissions. Mell. Okay. I'll tell you, not like I have any other options. Nellie, if at any point you can't bear to hear any more, so be it. You're free to leave whenever you like. I won't go anywhere. I can almost guarantee you. I pray that ends up being true. Alright, here goes. The whole story from start to finish, of how I ended up in this mess. Ooh, so we're getting Mell's story then. Here we go. Until around the time I turned 17, my life was mostly uneventful. On days when it was nice out, I would take walks around the house's grounds, sometimes napping beneath a tree. It was picturesque. And you were always there with me. You have the same flax-coloured hair as me, but yours always seemed to glisten in the sun, whereas mine is flat and dull. You shone like a tiny little dancing sun. At the time, I assumed that was how life would always be. I genuinely wanted it to be. Following my 17th birthday, though, I was met with a deluge of changes. First, father fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. With his death came the question of who would be the next head. As the oldest son, normally it would fall on me to take his place. I was 17, by all means enough of an adult to handle things myself. Or, well, that's what I thought, anyway. Nobody else did, though. After discussions I had no part in, it was decided that my uncle would be the next head. that they weren't confident I had the spine to do the job properly. I wasn't sure what to think. Part of me wanted to know why nobody bothered talking to me, and part of me was relieved. Somewhere inside, I knew I didn't have what it took. So I was more than happy to let someone else take that responsibility. If it meant I could go on with my quiet life, I didn't care who they picked. My uncle, though, seemed to have caught on to my apathy, which he did not take kindly to. And in response, he formally disowned me. What? So not only did he take over when it should have been you, he just kicked you out as well? Jeez, what an ass. I mean, just because you're apathetic? Nah, that sounds like that is usurped the head. I don't know. You're not the only one who still had some growing up to do, Nelly. I wasn't quite the adult I thought I was either. Fortunately, if you want to call it fortune, I was given enough money to live in for a decent length of time as well as a place to stay. It was a small house, far from home, his way of making it hard for me to come back. Not that I had any intention of returning, but the best thing to come out of it all was you coming with me, Nelly. Good for you, but was that good for Nelly? So this is our new home, dearest Mell. Yep, so it is. It's amazing how little there is. No big yard, no paintings, no vases filled with colourful flowers, no silver bowls full of fresh picked fruit. But there is you and me. You're not going to go and say you want to return home in a couple of months when you realise life isn't as luxurious here as it was back there, are you? There's only one thing in the world, the whole wide world, I really need. Oh? Honestly, I can live without shiny shoes and pretty dresses like Mother wears. I don't need composers to come and write me songs for my birthday. As long as I have the one thing that matters most to me, I can do without anything else. Are you saying? I'm as happy as I've ever been. I don't need all that fancy expensive stuff. We may not have a huge yard, but the sun shines everywhere. Flowers can grow even without a gardener tending to them. Nelly. I'll do whatever I can for you, dearest Mell. Are you hungry? I'm hungry. Oh, yeah, a bit. Alright, I'll make something then. Start off with some fruit jam, then maybe make a pie out of it. What else sounds good? I'm craving cookies. Oh. Aha! You've got quite the sweet tooth. You're going to make yourself sick like that. That's the first smile I've seen since we got here. But that can't be right. I'm sure I've been smiling. Nope, you've been frowny all day. Whatever you say. Forget about all that stuff at home. We've got each other. We can do this. Who cares that we're not rich anymore? We'll figure things out in no time. And then we'll have even more fun than we did back there. Yeah, you're right. It'll all work out, dear Mell. I'll always be here for you. You've got yourself an adorable little princess. What more could you possibly need? Cheer up. Thanks. I'm really glad you decided to come with me. Oh ho ho, did you think for a second I wouldn't? I'm your princess, dearest Mell. And princesses belong with their princes. I suppose so. It's interesting. So I'm assuming the mother's still alive and the mother was okay with them both being like kicked out of the main house? So Nelly must feel massive responsibility for Mell because Mell chose to go with him and leave their previous lifestyle to slum it with her brother, who's not even I don't think well equipped to being an adult and independent. I think having a quite pampered lifestyle so far. Jeez. Until that day, I had never known how good it felt to have someone who wanted me in their life, who saw me for me. I realised for the first time how blessed I had always been. I was hardly prince material. I wasn't strong or handsome or regal enough for that. But Nellie calling me her prince gave me the illusion of being worth something. It made me feel like I could keep on being that richly blessed young man, even this far away from home. While I had been given some money, my supply was far from infinite. I knew I would eventually have to find some kind of work, some way to support myself and Nellie. But to be quite honest, I couldn't gather the motivation to do much of anything. My whole life had changed so abruptly, so dramatically, that my mind just wasn't able to keep up. It had knocked me on my backside, and I didn't have the strength to get back up. I couldn't tell Nellie that, of course, but this is what I said instead. I'm staying home because I want to be with you as much as possible, and she happily took me at my word. Our new life together was quiet and unremarkable. Even so, it was still a constant stream of new experiences for the two of us, having been pampered our entire lives. Welcome home, dear Mell. What did you buy today? I got a chicken. Wow, I've never seen one up so close before. Are we going to keep it as a pet? I was planning on using it for supper. What, you're going to cook it? That's the idea. You like chicken though, don't you? Steamed especially, if I remember right. Yes, but... But it's all covered in feathers and flapping about. How are we supposed to cook it? If I remember, the guy said you have to pluck its feathers, then cut off its head and drain all the blood. Ew, no way, absolutely not. Not in a million years. You do it, Mell. What? I've never done this before. Well, I'm not, so you do it. Alright, alright. I'll bring it to the... Not inside, do it outside. Okay. I've never had to slaughter a chicken before. The chefs back home always took care of it. God, I hope I don't screw this up. But, well, I'm not going to accomplish anything if I just sit here worrying. Just gotta give it my best shot. Oh, please, please don't put up a fight. Jeez. Ah, can't watch. On the count of 3, okay? The count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ack. But wait. Come back. Oh, chicken got free. It's gone. Oof. Maybe you should have bought some fruit and veg instead if you couldn't fuck up the courage. But you know what? I wouldn't have been able to do it either. At first I was just fumbling about in the dark, constantly messing up everything I tried. But in time I started getting more comfortable with things, and I stopped pining for my old life. For the longest time, I couldn't shake the memory of the fact that I had once been a noble. I was constantly wondering how I ended up there, why this was happening to me. Nellie had seemed to have adjusted fairly quickly, but I wasn't faring so well. I was surprised, honestly. I figured if anyone was going to have an issue with our new lifestyle, it was going to be her, not me. Back home, Nellie had tended to be, well, a bit of a princess. She was frequently harsh with Abigail, scolding them for the smallest of things. There were times I thought she might be biting her tongue for my sake, but every time it crossed my mind she would say, "I've got you, dear Mell. Everything's just fine." And it was those words that kept me going. Oh, dearest Mell, I just had the most wonderful idea. Would you like to hear it? Sure, what's your idea? We should get married. What? Alright, let me just take a swig of my bottle of water. Yep, and that's where we delve into the bads. What? You can't be serious. As serious gets. I mean, we're basically married already and everything but a name. But we can't do that, we're siblings. Nobody here needs to know that. Oh my god. They can guess from our hair and eye colour though. I don't think we look that much alike. Anyway, whatever gave you that idea? If we get married, then we can be together forever. We can do that just as well as brother and sister. It's not the same, though. No one ever says two siblings lived happily ever after. I want to be with you for the rest of my life, dearest Mell. And the best way to do that is to get married. But Nelly, what are you so hesitant for? Is there someone you pine for? No, Nelly, I just don't want to marry my sister, come on. No, but... Then there's no problem. We're blood-related siblings. Does she realise that getting married means eventually having children and everything that leads up to that? I'm pretty sure she's not aware of that stuff. That goes against the teachings of the Lord. No, she's still just a kid chasing after a fairy tale ending. She doesn't understand the reality of what she's saying. Yep. Sometimes I'm not sure what to do with you, Nelly. So you'll marry me? But right now, I know you need God's word. Starting tonight, you're getting your own private sermon every night. Understand? Blah. My instruction was as much for my own sake as it was for Nelly's. I'm not going to lie, the thought did cross my mind that her proposition might not be so bad. For one, I couldn't imagine spending the rest of my life with anyone else, and it had been her smile that had kept me going when things got difficult. Mell. No, Mell. No. But I knew that it was a sin, and I didn't think I would be able to live with myself if I crossed that line. Yes, don't. So night after night, I taught her, reminded her that we were brother and sister, and that we didn't have to be anything more for her to be the most important person in the world to me. I've just got a feeling that that's not gonna work. And after about a third month away from home, that life began crumbling. Nelly woke up one day with a high fever that refused to break. At first I thought it was just a cold and that she'd be over it soon enough. But as much as I tried to convince myself, oh, she'll be better tomorrow, she just kept getting worse, until eventually she couldn't even get out of bed. She had visibly lost weight, and I had never heard her voice so weak and lethargic before. Well, I wonder what it is then. Is there anything you'd like me to get you, Nelly? All I want is you to be here with me, dearest Mell. You really should eat something. I'll make something you like. How about a nice expensive chicken? The last one got away, but I won't let that happen this time. I'm not really in the mood for anything too heavy. Oh, okay. Don't you worry, Mell. I'll be better before you know it. Yeah, you will. You'll be just fine. Everything's going to be back to normal soon. Watching Nelly grow weaker every day scared the hell out of me. I desperately did not want to lose her. If I lost her, then who would be left that wanted me? Who would tell me I was worth something? Who would say nice things about me? Who would be there with me every day? Just when I had started to feel optimistic about this new life, started to feel comfortable in it, it was looking like it might fall apart again. I searched everywhere for some medicine that could cure her. Healthy foods, fruits and vegetables with supposed medicinal properties, anything I could get my hands on. I prayed. And Nelly, you were overjoyed. You were thrilled I would go to such lengths for you. But the reality is, I was really doing it for myself. But as much as I researched, I couldn't find anything that worked, and I started to panic. I would go to bed at night afraid I would wake up the next morning and Nelly wouldn't. I was already grasping at straws, and I was ready to try anything that had even the slightest chance of curing her. And then one day, I heard whispers. Whispers about a witch who lived by the lake. They said she was a recluse, that she hardly ever left her house, and that she hadn't been down to the city in years. They told me she might have some medicinal herbs that could help, so I rushed down to the lake to see her. Sitting by the shore was a small cottage, even less luxurious than where Nelly and I were living at the time. Seeing the thin trails of smoke rising from the chimney, I was convinced the rumours were true. A witch lived in that house. I wasn't sure what to expect, being a recluse. I figured she was going to be
she wasn't going to be very sociable, at least. To tell you the truth, I was kind of scared to knock on her door. But I had exhausted all my other options, so I clenched my teeth and gave the door 2 firm raps. "Who's there?" The sound of her voice caught me off guard, and all I could do was stare at the door with a knot in my throat. Based on the information I had, I'd assumed I was going to find a wrinkly old woman, but that was the voice of a young girl, and even though she'd only said 2 words, there was something indescribably enchanting about that voice. I could listen to her talk for hours on end in some kind of strange, hypnotic trance. It was almost like magic, for lack of a better word. I stood there dumbfounded, like my soul had been sucked from my body. "Who's there?" She repeated her question, which brought me back to reality, though I still had to fight to maintain my wits enough to respond coherently. "My sister has fallen very ill, and she desperately needs medicine. I was told that the person who lives here is a skilled herbalist. Could I please get something to treat her?" "What are her symptoms?" She's got an extremely high fever that won't come down. She has no appetite. She's only drinking water and she can't get out of bed." "We're going to want to lower her fever first. After that, get her on a nutritious diet. I'm going to give you 2 medications. Give her the first while her fever's high, and the second after it's come down." Thank you very much." Her voice wasn't bright and energetic like Nellie's. It was more restrained, sober and quiet, yet simultaneously clear and sharp. The sound tickled my curiosity. I wanted to know what she looked like. I wanted to know what kind of girl stood on the other side of that door. With a voice that pretty, she must be equally lovely, I thought. And I had to see it for myself. And my wish didn't fall on deaf ears when she opened the door to hand me the herbal medicine and take my money. Her head peeked out between the cracks ever so slightly. "I said I would tell you everything, exactly as it happened, so I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. It was unsettling. It was nothing like I had imagined from her voice. Her skin had, I guess, fallen off or something, because you could see the raw, red flesh beneath. To say it was hard to look at would be an understatement. Most of her face was covered by a black hood, so all I could see was her mouth and chin, but even that much was harrowing. But the last thing I wanted to do was look away. For all I knew, that was why she had become a recluse, and I couldn't let myself hurt her, so I suppressed my own disgust and put on my best smile. People often tell me I have a very pleasant, amiable smile, so I figured I could use that to prevent her from picking up on what was actually going on through my head. And when she saw my face, a look of surprise seemed to cross hers. The witch's herbs did indeed seem to help some. Going to visit her was better than talking to any of the local doctors. Nonetheless, Nellie hadn't been cured, she was only feeling a little bit better. So I kept paying the witch visits, kept purchasing more herbs from her, and every time I went to that cottage and heard her sweet voice, I imagined how much sweeter it would sound without a door obstructing it. Even knowing what she looked like didn't stop the curiosity from growing within me. From what I gathered talking to her, there wasn't much of an age difference between us either. She was 16 and I was 17. And I'm sure you know how it is. When you meet someone around your age, you feel a sort of sense of kinship. This girl I had originally believed to be some kind of otherworldly witch was starting to feel like a regular person like me. Through our conversations, I managed to learn her name, as well as the fact that she had come here from a faraway country. We were both a long way from home. Thinking she might open up even more to someone who'd been through a similar experience, I decided to try inviting her to go on a walk with me. It's not healthy to stay holed up inside all the time. You've got this beautiful lake right here. What do you say we take a little walk around the shoreline? To my surprise, she accepted. The Witch Morgana. Great weather, isn't it? I love the way the sun reflects off the surface of the lake. It's gorgeous. Are you okay? I'm in disbelief, to tell you the truth. Huh? What for? You've seen my face. You know how hideous I am.
And still you invited me on a walk. You're a very peculiar person. Is it really that strange? I mean, we're almost the same age, so I figured we might make pretty good friends. You want to make friends with me? Well, sure. We've been through a lot of the same things, so we can understand each other better than most. Understand each other? Yeah, we're both young, but we've been through some rough times. I'm going to be blunt with you. You've not been through anything like I have. But what? No? If you had experienced the things I have, you wouldn't be smiling right now. I haven't known you long, but I don't need to have in order to know how unequivocally dissimilar we are. That we were cut from a very different cloth. Well, yeah, we're people. We're not made of cloth, so... That's not what that means, you know. Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be so harsh. In fact, I would say you're much better off not being in my position. It sounds like you've been through a lot. If you don't mind me asking, what happened to you? I'd be happy to lend an ear. It might make you feel better to get it off your chest. And that is what's so different about us. Huh? I will not tell you about myself, no. That said, I do appreciate the concern. Thank you. Sure, you're welcome. She's not very open with people, huh? Well, I guess that's only to be expected. She hasn't spent much time around other people looking the way she does. I wonder if there's anything I can do for her. At least get her to show a little bit of emotion. Say, if it's not too much to ask, do you think we could maybe do this again sometime? Don't expect me to lower my prices. I'm not trying to squeeze a better deal out of you. I just want to get to know you better. Nothing more to it. No ulterior motives. Promise. Did you forget I've already said I won't be telling you about myself? Alright, then it doesn't have to be about you. We can talk about anything, whatever you want. Do you have a favourite food? Any hobbies? Nothing in particular? Well, that was a fruitful conversation. Okay, crap. I have no interests or tastes worth mentioning, so if you want to talk, I suppose that leaves you to be the subject. Me? Tell me about yourself. My life's not all that exciting. Anything I had to tell you would probably just bore you. I'm not looking for excitement. Okay. Well, alright then, I guess I can tell you about myself. And so I did. I told her about my family situation, and I told her about Nellie, and that was pretty much all I had to talk about. For the most part, she hardly even reacted to anything I said, so it was difficult to tell if she was listening or not. But she would urge me to continue whenever I'd go quiet for more than a few moments, so I suppose she was listening. Every time I came to purchase more medicine, we would go on a walk around the lake together. A single loop around the shoreline didn't give us much time to talk, but my attempts to reduce our walking pace or stop to extend our time together were flatly ignored, and she refused to go around more than once, claiming it would disturb her daily rhythm. That said, she never refused an invitation either, so I don't think she particularly disliked me. Yet, anyway. Ooh, a robin! What does a robin have to do with your sister? Nothing, I just saw one over there. If you listen, you can hear it sing. They migrate somewhere warmer when it gets cold. They just fly off to someplace more comfortable. If I had wings like a bird, maybe I could be free too. There is not a single creature living in this world that is free. But birds regularly get shot down by hunters or preyed on by larger birds. The idea that they are free is nothing more than man's short-sighted delusion. Sorry, I guess. No, I should be apologizing. I wasn't trying to attack you. I simply lack the ability to properly empathize with others. I do not understand people. So please, If I say anything that upsets you or makes you uncomfortable, don't assume that was my intention. Sure, maybe you're hiding it, or maybe you just don't know it yet, but I think you've got more empathy than you're letting on. Surely you can't say nothing affects you at all. You are human. So you don't have to be so closed off. I might not be able to do much for you, but I do want to get to know you better. I want to understand you. So if you ever feel like talking about yourself, just know that you've got an eager pair of ears here. Okay? If there were ever someone who could understand me, who could empathize with me, it would not be human. But what do you mean? That you would need to be far removed from any idea of humanity to have a chance at understanding me? Regardless, I do appreciate your kind words. Sure. So, out of curiosity, do you have anyone really important to you in your life? Not at the moment. Does that mean you used to? Did Morgan? I'd love to hear about them, if you don't mind. They're all long dead. 4 years ago, something unpleasant occurred, and as a result of that, I was forced to part ways with the people who taught me that humans have the capability for kindness. Oh, I'm sorry. Well then, if your sister's condition worsens again, come see me. Farewell. Hey, maybe you could walk a little slower next time so we have more time to talk. I want to get to know you better. I'll consider it. Does it really require that much thought? So long. Bye. See you soon. Things continued on like that for a while. Nellie bounced back and forth between getting better and getting worse. Emotionally, I followed not far behind, getting very little in the way of peace of mind. Having to spend so much time worrying over and looking after Nellie was starting to wear me out, even though I knew good and well she had it much worse than me. I wanted to be done with it all. I wanted to be free. I wanted her to get better as soon as possible, so I could stop agonizing over her. So at some point, I started wishing for a miracle. I didn't care if it came from God, an angel, or something less holy. I just wanted someone to cure Nellie and take the weight off my shoulders. And during one of our walks, I let that slip. I'll take anything at this point to make her better. I'll even take a miracle if I can get one. I assumed she would, as she had a tendency to, say that people who believe in miracles were delusional. She was, in my mind, very much a realist, which is why her response surprised me so much. Do you sincerely wish for a miracle? What? Do you truly want a miracle, no matter what form it may take? Well, yeah. I've tried everything else. God is all I can ask for help anymore. I know what you're going to say. There's no such thing as miracles. If there were, Nellie would already be better. I've prayed every single night for her recovery. It's all just a delusion, I know. Miracles do exist. What? If you have faith and you sincerely wish for her to be healed, you'll be granted your miracle. What are you talking about, Morgana? You've said many times that you wish to know more about me. Yeah, I have. Well, I'll grant you that wish. As you listen to my story, you'll come to understand why I said you will never be able to empathize with me. And as you do, hope will sprout up within you. Here in my lakeside cottage, I am known as a witch, but I did not used to be called such. No? I am the daughter of God. Most people would dismiss such a claim as madness, and I almost did exactly that. But there was something strangely enchanting about her voice, and I found myself slowly drawn into her tale, listening intently to her every word. The more I heard, the harder it was to believe she was lying. And before long I was convinced she was a daughter of God, a saint whose blood had miraculous powers. Her first cry ended a lengthy drought in the village where she was born, and her blood cured the sick. She rolled up one sleeve to show her arm. Practically every inch of skin from her shoulder to the tips of her fingers was scarred from where she had been cut. According to her, the scarring had once been far worse, but improved with the application of ointment. Every single one of those scars, she said, marked a person who had sought her blood, and I believed every word. There was something about her that set her apart from the rest of us normal people, like she was some higher being. They were not self-inflicted wounds, not the marks of someone who had tried to take her own life, but symbols of the great sacrifices she had made. She offered to give Nellie her blood, and without a moment's hesitation, I accepted. Mell? Hey Nellie, I'm back. And I brought someone with me. A saint. A saint? Yep. She's here because medicine hasn't been working for you. She can perform miracles, so she's going to cure you. Miracles? That's right. Her blood has miraculous healing powers. Blood? Fear not, my beloved sister. Hear my words and do as I say. You must have faith for the miracle to be performed correctly. I give you my blessing, that it may bestow unto you salvation. I give you my love, and I give you relief. Hear my words. I hear them. This body was created not in a mortal womb. This flesh is not the flesh of man. This blood is not the blood of man. The water that flows through these holy veins flows from the river of creation. Have mercy on them, O Father. May the infirm find comfort in your warmth. May the destitute find reprieve in your generosity. May my flesh bring nourishment and health unto this girl. Bestow upon her your blessing, O Father. Morgana held a pale hand above Nellie's mouth and, without hesitation, sliced her own wrist. Blood slowly trickled down her middle finger from the cut, dripping into the gap between Nellie's bluish lips. I stood there entranced by the scene. It was like I was witnessing some kind of ritual. I wasn't sure, however, whether to describe it as sacred or profane. Watching the fresh blood trickle from the cut on her wrist made me break out into a sweat, feeling like I was violating a taboo. My knees rattled and I could barely stay on my feet. Needles prickled my hands, thoughts slipped through my fingers before they could fully form. Had I crossed a line that wasn't meant to be crossed? Had I stepped into territory man was never supposed to enter? In time, I stopped processing Morgana's prayer as words. It became nothing but a rhythmical sequence of sounds bouncing around in my head. My line of sight grew gradually narrower. What? Are you alright? The ceremony is complete. How's Nellie? She is asleep right now, but she should reawaken soon. Oh, good. My blood has the power to cause miracles, but you must remember that the miracle is predicted on your faith. So are you saying we need to worship you? No, I am merely God's progeny. Your praises and prayers should be directed at my Father, the Lord, God. I should get going then. Hey, thank you very much. When Morgana had said I'd never be able to understand or empathize with her, she had not been lying. Having only heard her tell of it, I'd still believe there was room for me to close the gap between us. That we still had enough in common. But seeing it with my own eyes, feeling it with my entire being, I no longer had any illusions of us being on the same plane. As I gave her my thanks, my voice was audibly trembling. Mell, come on, get up, dear Mell. Oh, Mell. Nelly? Aha, finally! You're awake, sleepyhead. What's with that look? Am I making a funny face? Are you good to be up and about? Yep, I woke up this morning feeling wonderful. Feel my forehead, Mell, see? No fever. It's gone. She actually performed a miracle. I only remember bits and pieces, but I remember a really pretty saint lady showing up and giving me her blood. That's how she remembers it. Her memory is pretty hazy, huh? And then I got this warm and fuzzy feeling inside me. Then I had this really strange dream. What kind of dream? There were a whole bunch of lights floating all around me, and they were changing into all sorts of different colours. It was the most wonderful dream. That doesn't help me understand it at all, Nelly. It was a good dream, and that's what matters. It must have been the Saint Lady's power at work. Must be, yeah. So relieved you're feeling better, Nelly. Sorry for all the trouble I caused you. But now everything can go back to normal. Yep, all back to normal. She wants to thank me. Yeah, Nelly's insisting I let her meet you so she can show her gratitude. So if it's alright, would you mind coming to supper sometime? That would probably not be wise. Huh? Why not? It would hardly be pleasant having to eat in the presence of a face as grotesque as mine. And I doubt your sister could react well to the sight of it. Would react well to the sight of it. I don't think it would cause any problems. Nelly isn't the kind of girl to judge someone by their looks, I don't think. Perhaps not, but to her I'm a saint, not a normal person. In her mind, she thinks I'm beautiful, doesn't she? We must maintain that illusion. It is essential to the miracle that her faith remains unwavering, and on some level, that faith depends on her idealized image of me. You think so? Though our time together was brief, I could see it in her. She is a girl with a great love of beauty. And perhaps the same could be said of you. I don't judge people by how they look. It's what's inside that matters. I'll take you at your word. Thanks. So, are you sure you don't want to come? I really shouldn't. I'm terribly sorry. Oh, okay. Why in the world am I feeling relieved? Nelly recovering was a huge weight off my shoulders. Now everything would go back to the way it was, quiet and unremarkable. I could finally go out and get a real job, forget about my old life, live like a regular old commoner. That was what I was going to do for the both of us. The problem was, Nelly hadn't actually recovered completely. She was in nearly perfect health for the first few days, after drinking Morgana's blood. But soon her fever came back, she stopped being able to get out of bed, and to top it all off, she started having lengthy coughing fits. During some of them, she coughed up little bits of bloody phlegm. I nearly had a panic attack, so I rushed down to Morgana's cottage and told her what was happening, to which she responded with a quizzical tilt of her head. Nelly's health meant everything to me. It certainly wasn't the curiosity her head tilt seemed to make it out to be. But it didn't seem to bother her at all. The miracle took place, but it didn't persist? That doesn't make much sense. But it's true, she can't get out of bed. And it's not a problem with her faith. I've been teaching her the word of God every night, and she absolutely believes in you, in her saint. Lower your voice. I will perform another miracle for her. You'll do it again? I will not forsake those who are in need. And it will stick this time, right? I cannot promise anything. But why? Your miracles aren't supposed to be temporary, are they? Whether they are or not is decided by you and your sister. You're my only hope, though. Please, do not worry. If a second blessing is not enough to cure her of her ailment, then I'll visit and give her my blood as many times as is necessary. I will gladly give her every last drop of blood in my body. I assure you, my father does not want to see two young souls like yourselves torn apart, and neither do I. We should get going. All right. For the second time, Morgana had Nelly drink of her blood. And for the second time, she was healthy again the next morning. And for the second time, she fell ill again shortly thereafter. Her fever returned. I went to get Morgana and she gave Nelly her blood. The cycle repeated again and again. And every time I had to watch her go through that ceremony, it was exhausting. And I wasn't sure I could handle it much longer. I started thinking maybe there wasn't anything sacred about any of this, that it was as blasphemous as it looked from the outside. I was making a girl cut her own wrist and feed my sister her blood. Nothing about that sounded right, but I had nowhere else to go, no one else to ask for help. When I was with Morgana, listening to her words of reassurance, she, without fail, wiped away all the doubt I had. It wasn't until after she left that the wave of regret hit me. I wasn't sure what was right and wrong anymore. I wasn't sure what to do anymore. Every time I went to see Morgana, it got more and more difficult to look her in the eye. I stopped asking her on walks as often, and I stopped trying to have chats with her, not so much out of a sense of guilt, but because I was getting to be afraid of her. One of those draining days, someone knocked on the door. I hadn't asked Morgana to come down that day, so I wasn't sure who it could be. Nelly was asleep in her bed, so I quietly rose from my seat and made my way to the door, trying not to wake her. Who is it? Hello? Who's there? I had an inkling of a suspicion, but having been raised in such a sheltered environment, I didn't understand exactly how dangerous it was to thoughtlessly open the door to anyone who came knocking. I pulled the door inward a couple of inches and tried to take a peek through the crack. When out of nowhere, someone grabbed my shoulder and shoved me helpless to resist into the house. A man stood there above me. The swordsman, or the beast. Why's he got? What do you think you're doing? What do you want from me? I don't have anything valuable. I'm just a regular old peasant. I am not here to rob you. What? You're in contact with a witch, are you not? Huh? The girl who lives by the lake calls herself a witch. Witch? I don't know any witch. The only one who lives there is a saint. A saint? I was told she was a witch. But regardless, there's a girl who lives there with miracle blood, no? Looks like I've got the right person. But what do you want from me? I want you to help me. Huh? I need you to lure the witch out into the open. And why do you need that? Because I need her blood. I need to get my hands on the witch's miracle blood. Then go ask for it for yourself. Why should I have to help you? She won't open the door for me. But I've seen you talking to her. You seem to be quite friendly with the witch. Taking little walks around the lake. How? I need your help. Wait, if you're seeing them taking walks around the lake, why didn't you just go, attack them there and then when they were walking around the lake? And what are you going to do once you have her outside? I have orders from the Lord to take her captive. What, the Lord? Why would he? That is none of your concern. Do you expect me to buy that? All I need from you is to get the witch out of that house. Why would I? She doesn't trust me. I could always force my way in, but there's a chance something might go wrong and I can't risk that. Oh? If she hears your voice, she'll open the door. Yes? The witch trusts you, unlike me. With your help, there's no risk of anything going wrong.
You barge in here and tell me you want to capture her, and you think I'm just going to agree to help? Like hell I will.
Oh, don't worry. You'll get your share. You need the witch's blood too, right?
I don't care about getting a share. You're asking me to deceive her. I don't care what you will think she is. She hasn't done anything wrong, so no, I won't help you capture her.
You leave me no choice then.
But, He approached the bed where Nellie slept, drawing his sword and pressing the tip against her throat. It happened so quickly, without any warning, my mind couldn't keep up. I stood there, mouth half open like an idiot. If I were courageous, if I were gallant and brave, then maybe I would have grabbed him and pulled him away from Nellie. But my legs seemed to be severed from my mind. They were frozen to the floor like two useless rocks.
You have two options.
Either you say no and protect the witch, get away, or you help me capture her. Get away from her right now. And if you choose the witch, I kill the girl. Get away. Make your decision. Get away from her. You have until the count of 10. If you don't choose, I'll kill the girl. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay, I'll do it. I'll help you. So get your sword out of her face. Don't kill her. I thought you'd hold out until the last second. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's get going. That was scummy, but I am not surprised. Get moving. You pitiful little boy. You just had to put that in there, Swordman, didn't you? I felt like jumping into a lake. I couldn't make sense of how I had ended up in such a position. Just a few months earlier, I'd been living back at my family's estate, hardly a worry in the world. Nellie had been healthy and happy. It hadn't been exciting, no, but I had figured that was how things would always be. That one day, I'd fall for some noble girl, Nellie would get jealous, and I'd have to spend several days or even weeks pacifying her. Everyone would be happy, a life free of troubles, because that was normal, and I was normal. So what was I doing living in some tiny cottage so far from home, feeding my sick sister miracle blood? What was I doing walking beside this barbarian? What was I doing at all? I was conflicted. Part of me hoped he would never arrive at the lake, and part of me wanted to get there as quickly as possible so I could be done with all this. But time plodded on no quicker or slower than normal, and we arrived at Morgana's store in short order, irrespective of my own selfish hopes. The thought of what was going to happen next filled me with a crushing sense of guilt. I may have been afraid of Morgana, but I had no grudge against her. I was actually quite grateful to her. She was still healing Nellie, even if the ceremony to do so inspired fear in me. She didn't hesitate to cut her own wrist open for Nellie, and for me. She didn't grimace or even frown, though I knew it had hurt. I knew damn well she wasn't a bad person, that she hadn't done anything to warrant being taken into custody. She might very well have been a genuine saint, but there I was, selling her out because a man with a sword threatened me. Ugh. O Father who art in heaven, please forgive me for what I am about to do. Please, please forgive me. Quit snivelling. You want her to get suspicious? But how? I can't, please, oh God. Stop crying. Or would you rather I kill you here? Just close your eyes, it'll be over before you know it. Do it. Call on the witch. Who's there? It's me. I'm not here about Nellie today. I'm sorry for being so distant lately.
I want to talk things over. I thought I heard a faint gasp through the door, and then she responded. I want to talk to you too. Why? Why did she have to want to talk now? She had always been so curt, so rational, so quick to cut down my fantasies, never one to get emotional or sentimental. She had always given off the impression of being something greater than we mere humans, always been so aloof, never giving any indication she thought anything of me at all. So why? Why did she sound like a normal girl now? Why was her voice trembling slightly when she said she wanted to talk? Why now of all times? Get back. No, stay away from me. No. Help. Don't kill me. Take it. What? That's your share. Should last you long enough. Why? Why did you take my arm? What do you mean by share? Jeez, oh. But why? It all happened in less than a minute. I told her I wanted to talk. She opened the door. Then I heard a sound like the wind whipping past my ear. And the next thing I knew, her cottage was covered in blood. Never once did I expect anything to happen how it did. When he'd said he wanted to capture her, I took it to mean exactly that. I hadn't thought he would turn brutal, that he would do something so horrific. After the man cut her arm off, Morgana tumbled to the floor, floundering about as we watched, blood trickling down the curved blade in his hand. Her screams were indistinguishable from those of a normal person. Her arm. Kneeling in the grass at the lake shore, I vomited and I vomited and I vomited. The things I had seen in the cabin were far too much for me to handle. I tossed the arm, Morgana's arm, the man had given me, into the lake. What else was I supposed to do with it? It was an arm, a human arm. You would have to be insane to go around carrying someone's severed arm. I tried to convince myself it was all a dream, some terrible nightmare, but I could still feel the warmth of her skin fresh in my hands, the warmth of her blood on my fingers, dragging me back to reality. My mind couldn't keep up with the flood of thoughts and emotions and images. I wanted to close my eyes, but I was too afraid I would find the bloodbath in the cottage in the back of my eyelids, which left me with nothing to do but wail. I was horrified at what I had done. I knew that I was the one who had set it all in motion. If I had kept quiet, Morgana wouldn't have had her arm cut off. But I didn't want to admit it was my fault. I didn't want to accept that I had caused it. I did nothing wrong. It's not my fault. He threatened me. So it's not my fault. I had no choice. I didn't do anything. I frantically scrubbed my blood-soaked clothes in the lake. As I watched the red cloud spread, I knew I was defiling something pure and beautiful, but my awareness of that fact was slowly dissipating like the blood through the clear water. By the time I had gotten all the blood off my clothes, the sun was beginning to set. I came back to my senses at the sound of a bird chirping quickly. Recalled that I had left Nellie alone at the house. My legs were shaking and I could barely keep myself upright, but remembering her gave me enough motivation to drag myself back home. If she hadn't been there waiting for me, I seriously might have thrown myself into the lake instead. Mell? What's the matter, dearest Mell? Where have you been? Mell? I'm so sorry. What? I'm so sorry. Will you ever be able to forgive me? Dearest Mell? I never meant for this to happen. I'm so sorry, please, I'm begging you to forgive me. I'm begging you. But were you not able to get my medicine?
Is that what you're crying about? It's not that big a deal, Mell. I'm just fine, honest. I'm alright. Thanks. I wanted to forget everything. I wanted to forget about my involvement, about the horrible things I caused to happen. But whenever I lay down to go to sleep, I heard her screams, Morgana's animalistic howls. I saw her cottage, blood splattered everywhere. I felt her severed arm still warm in my hands. From that day on, what sleep I got was hardly restful. Nellie probably didn't notice anything through her feverish haze. But I'm willing to bet I looked like hell. Praying time would cause the memory to fade. I started looking for doctors again. Instead of clinging to a miracle, I would try to have Nellie's sickness cured the way normal people do. At some point though, all that money I'd been given started running low. If I'd thought about it for 2 seconds, I would have seen it coming. I hadn't exactly been frugal in my attempts to find a cure for Nellie, nor had I been especially concerned about money before she fell ill. I was so used to living like an aristocrat, and I hadn't succeeded in breaking those old habits, which left me with only one thing I could do for Nellie: be with her day in and day out. Every day that passed, I lost a little more hope. If I couldn't do anything and Nellie died, I would be utterly alone. And that was what scared me more than anything. The nightmares were eating away at me, leaving me with nowhere to run. And if I didn't have someone there with me, I wouldn't have been able to hold myself together. After 3 or so days of me sitting by Nellie's bedside, hardly moving, there was a knock on the door. Who's there? Who is it? Open the door, unless you want me to kick it down. My suspicion was correct. I couldn't think of anyone else who would come visit. But what I didn't know was why he had come back. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Open the door. Leave me alone, please. I want nothing to do with anything you're doing. Open the door. No, I'm not letting you in for any reason. Okay then, I'll break it down. Don't. My sister's inside sleeping. I don't need you waking her up. Then open it. Grr. What do you need? I did everything you asked me to already. What happened to the witch's arm? I threw it. I threw it away. You really think I was going to keep that? A person's arm? Mell, what's going on? Do we have a visitor? Nellie, I should get them something to drink. Don't worry about it, Nellie. You get some sleep, alright? Can we go outside? I'd really rather not talk in here. Fine by me. So that's your sister. Do you not remember threatening her with your sword, you asshole? Explains why you look so much alike. That's none of your damned business. You wanted the miracle blood to cure your sick sister, did you not? And you're telling me you threw the arm away. Are you interested in getting more blood? What? We're taking the witch's blood, turning it into a medicine, and selling it through the church. Selling it? You're doing business in a house of worship. No, I suppose we're technically giving it away. But we're asking for teeth, so really it's the same thing. I'm not from this land, so to me it looks no different than a business, but the people here, they see it as charity. The Lord says if you'll assist us, he'll provide you with the medicine we're making. The Lord? Why would the Lord be? Hell if I know. Because it seems like good money? So, will you help us? You're gonna make me get my hands dirty for you again? I can't. Not again. Oh right, I forgot to mention one detail.
You don't have a choice this time. What? You didn't have a choice last time. Huh? You know about the miracle blood, which means we can't let you go unattended. If you say no, I have permission from the Lord to kill you on the spot. But why? So, will you help us? Or will you die here? What was the right thing for me to do then? Should I have fought back and died? Should I have tried to run? Should I have taken my own life? I'm sure you've heard enough to know by now that I'm a weakling, a pushover. I didn't have the spine to do anything but agree to meet with the Lord. He told me about the mansion and he gave me one of a set of 3 keys. I wanted so badly to get rid of the key. But with that man's shadow constantly hanging over me, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Not when I could be the next one to end up losing a limb or 2. There was no way I could have disobeyed him. And that's everything that happened 6 months ago. Every day since I arrived here, I've brought Morgana breakfast and supper. She doesn't say anything, but I saw it in her eyes the first time I stepped through that door. How could you do that to me? I've never looked at her in the eyes since, because I'm too afraid of what I might see in them. Damn, that was bad. And that is how I ended up here. So he was threatened. He didn't actually want to cause Morgana harm. That doesn't excuse what he's done though. And so I think I'm going to leave it here for now. Oh dear. I don't know why, but I was thinking that maybe hearing the story from Mell's point of view might have been, you know, you might have went, oh right, okay. I mean, still, he was threatened to do what he did. He did have a general appreciation for Morgana the Witch. He might have even been falling in love with her, or at least wanting to become friends with her, because he did seem to really like her for her personality. Even if she did have like some sort of affliction on her face and skin. But the forced betrayal, that swordsman is a complete asshole, and so is the Lord. So I don't think they're getting any. There's going to be any love lost for them in this story, or maybe we're wrong. Who knows? But the swordsman definitely forced Mell to take part. Like, he threatened Nelly, and what can you do? He didn't have the strength or anything to fight against the swordsman. He would have lost. Nelly would have died. He was forced to do an extremely horrible thing and then suffer for it. And then on top of that, they're like, we can't let this person run free because he knows about the miracle blood. And so they rope him into the whole thing. Oh my god. That sucks. I mean, the question is, would you have done anything differently? Some people probably would. Maybe they would have just taken on the swordsman, taken their chances, probably got annihilated. But then you're risking Nelly, you're risking your sister in that. And I'm pretty sure the swordsman would have won. You saw how brutal he was with and uncaring he was with Morgana. He just chopped her arm off for because he's an idiot. He's like, here's some blood. I don't like he's insane, and I hope he gets his fucking well, he does kind of get his comeuppance technically because we come from the future. But anyway, a lot to think about. A lot that's kind of annoyed me. That swordsman really sucks. Seeing Morgana not only captured but totally dismembered, like abused, and like having already gone through, and I know we've been through Morgana's story, but seeing it again, having gone through what she had gone through up to that point,
and then for that to happen, for it to be essentially a betrayal from Mell, even if Mell was forced into it, it was a betrayal because he was used to get her out the house. I, you know, can't blame the witch too much for being as nasty as she is. Though I still think, I don't know, this story. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now. I'll let you guys think about it. So leave a comment or something if you have about what you think about the story. Do you think Mell was? Would you excuse Mell for the part that he has taken, according to the story, because he was forced into it, or do you think he's still he should be punished for that, having heard his side of the story? What do you think? Leave a comment. But I'll leave it there for now. I'll definitely looking forward to carrying this on later. But for now, this is the house in Fata Morgana. I am Ash Mannix, and I'll hopefully see you guys next time. See yous.